Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. The segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done so they can turn what they know into what they're known for and become the obvious choice. Download your copy for free at booksgrowbusiness.com. Joining me on this segment is Arinya Khamphoumy. He's a broker with Disciples Financial Services. Arinya, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Mark. Pleasure to be here.
Arinya, tell me a little bit about your work and who are the types of folks that you help. Just give me a brief overview and then we'll unpack it.
Yeah, so being in the life insurance space, we can cater to a lot of different demographics, but our bread and butter happens to be the 95% of America that's kind of overlooked and underserved, meaning, blue collar workers, things of that nature. It could be families and businesses as well that have different needs when it comes to using life insurance in a different capacity. So for us, we cater to babies as young as 2 weeks old, all the way up to people in their 80s. So we have products that can kind of fit in a lot of different markets where we know it's not a one size fits all opportunity. So we really custom tailor specific plans to help families reach their financial goals using various life insurance products.
For the folks that you help, are they aware that this exists for them, or what is the biggest challenge that you find people have with getting started with life insurance or anything that can help them?
That's a great question. A lot of times, by the way that we're teaching people about the basic concepts of life insurance, or even the basics of protecting the retirement income, they actually it's kind of a light bulb moment for them in a way where it's never been taught in a way that is digestible to them, right? Because most of the time we either find out through YouTube University or just hearing friends and family, but by having a professional sit down with them, really figure out what their needs are, it's a moment of enlightenment for them to realize, hey, I didn't know these types of benefits can exist, or I can use life insurance in more capacities than one, or on the retirement protection side, we deal with fixed index annuities as well, where people have heard about them. They're just not very familiar with how they work, where sometimes it can fit in someone's portfolio depending on where they are in their stage of life. But a lot of what we do is kind of vet our clients out just to make sure that they're suitable candidates for the products and services that we can offer. And then based upon our conversation, it might take 2 or 3 meetings, and then we determine, hey, based on our conversation, based on your needs, I think this carrier and this particular product is going to be a good fit to helping you achieve your financial goals.
You mentioned earlier the word underserved, and I also think that means underinformed, because people know about these, they don't understand the terms or what any of this means. So there is this lack of information. So I'm really glad to have you on the program today. What are some of the biggest myths or misconceptions people have around life insurance?
The biggest myth, and it's not really anybody's fault, just the lack of education, like you just mentioned, right? Where a lot of times people think that life insurance, is designed for just leaving money behind to your loved ones. It goes above and beyond that in today's world, where maybe they're not overly concerned about leaving money behind for that special someone. But what if, God forbid, something happens, chronic illness, critical injury, terminal illness? A lot of people, when we sit down with them, they like the fact that we can offer products with living benefits, meaning I'm able to use my life insurance proceeds while I'm alive, right? And the beautiful thing about that is it's not money that they have to pay back into the policy. And a lot of our carrier partners, those living benefits come at no charge to the client. And that's huge, especially in the competitive space that life insurance is, where not every company offers living benefits. A majority of our partners, our insurance carriers, happen to offer that just to provide more value to our clients.
When it comes to choosing life insurance, what are some of the common big mistakes people make, or what are the pitfalls you can help people avoid when it comes to life insurance?
The most common pitfalls, sometimes people will go really just based on the price, which carrier can give me the cheapest life insurance, but that might not serve their family's needs the best, right? Just like we can go get life insurance through State Farm. State Farm isn't known for selling life insurance, right? They're more of a property and casualty side, where when we come in and we can compete on the pricing side all day long, to where we're not in the position to mark up products, and people come to realize that our product offering with our different carriers is very, very competitive, even if they do offer more benefits than the average insurance company. But most of the time, it comes down to the pricing side, or they're buying life insurance from a friend or family member just for the sake of helping them out, and they're not necessarily taking care of their situation the best because they don't have all the information at the forefront.
Great insight there. Arinya, what inspired you to get into this field to begin with and help people with their life insurance and their futures? How did you get started?
Oh, I love that question. It kind of happened not by mistake. My wife and I, we met in Philadelphia, where we kind of were born and raised, and her grandma happened to pass away. It was a routine surgery, but she didn't make it out of that surgery, and it was always a dream of her grandma to go out to Arizona to retire. So when her grandmother passed away, she had some life insurance behind, and it gave my wife the opportunity to kind of live out grandma's dream, and just being on the receiving end of having access to life insurance, seeing what it can do, versus not having it, really changed my perspective of more people needing to be educated around it, because most of the time people feel content with just life insurance they have through their job, but they're at the mercy of if that job lets them go, that insurance doesn't go with them, right? So at first for me, it was being a proponent and receiving, and seeing what life insurance can do, turning into, well, how can I turn this into a business to impact more people, even if it's from the educational side, because I understand that not everybody's going to be an ideal client, but I at least want to get the information in front of them so they know, hey, these other avenues do exist, these other carriers and benefits do exist. So now it's more of a passion project from the educational standpoint before we even decide to move forward on the business front.
That's a really important illustration. Arinya, before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask you regarding your work and how you help folks that you feel is important to share with my listeners today?
Yeah, my suggestion would be, to not just rely on social media to try and get facts about different forms of life insurance, because a lot of things out there can be very misleading, right? Find yourself a professional to talk with, and ask them questions. If you're not sure what questions to ask, nowadays different technologies, chat GPT, find what questions I should be asking to make sure that if I'm going to work with a particular company or particular individual, what are the right questions to make sure that I'm doing business with the right kind of person. So just arming yourself in advance, because there's such an abundance of information out there, where a lot of it's very surface level, and if you follow the wrong advice, it can set your family up in the wrong trajectory. So my biggest thing is just making sure that you're asking the right questions, and do business with people that you real feel comfortable with once you've gotten all the information to help you make an informed decision.
That's sage advice. Social media is great to discover things and maybe do preliminary research on, but then when you're really getting serious to move forward, it's great to talk to a human that's going to help navigate you through that process. And speaking to someone like you, Arinya. So for folks listening who resonate with your message and they'd love to get in contact with you and find out more, how can they find you?
Yeah, so the best way, I'm available. My direct line, I don't have a secretary to answer the phone. Literally, my wife and I, we run the business together. We also have a team of agents within our office. So the best way to reach me is directly on my cell phone, is probably the fastest way, 480-868-3202. I still have my Arizona number, but rest assured I'll answer that call as long as I'm not in an appointment. But that's kind of the best way. And I do have, for people that reach out, I can always send them a link to my website. The URL is kind of a little bit longer, so it's through our partner website. But feel free to call me, text me, and we can book a time just to go over things that you might be on your mind when it comes to the insurance space.
And we'll be sure to include that link in the description of this episode. Arinya, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you so much.
That was Arinya Khamphoumy. He's a broker with Disciples Financial Services. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com, the place where professionals get their books done to turn what they know into what they're known for and become the obvious choice. Download your free book at booksgrowbusiness.com. I'm Mark Imperial. That's all for now. Take care, and we'll see you again next time.